There's one gentleman that I'd like to introduce you to, and I will be interviewing him for a very special purpose. You know him, he's a friend of our awards, Mr. Michael Haddad. He is not just a friend of the awards, he's become a very close friend of mine. And when we ask him to speak at the conference, he says the same old things, but I've had the opportunity just to talk to him and to understand his life and his passion. And so instead of asking him to give a speech today, I'm going to interview him. I'm going to ask all the questions that I know you would like to ask him. Let's hear what he has to say about inclusivity and why it matters for us. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Michael Haddad. My friend, how you doing?
Good.
Good to have you.
Always good.
I'm going to get a chair here.
Yes, my time. Good morning.
Well, Michael lives in Lebanon, but he's very rarely there because he's traveling and hobnobbing. Test. He's usually traveling or meeting with the Pope or some dignitary around the world. Michael, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We're talking today about landscape, and of course you have a different perspective because some landscapes you don't get to see because they're not inclusive for people with wheelchairs or others. But from your personal experience, what are some of the barriers that you encounter in the outdoors and the open spaces, and how can landscape architects address them?
Again, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very proud to be here, and I'm very proud to be your friend. Philip, if you remember, 2 years ago, I gave my first keynote speech in landscape, and I was wearing an exoskeleton, standing. Today, after 3 years, I'm in a wheelchair, not in my exoskeleton, to share with you a statement. The importance of inclusion, people, and empowerment. We promised people that we are going to put the human in the middle of landscape, and we did it together all over the world. In Expo 2020, we did this walk to highlight empowerment, to highlight inclusion, and the best thing and the most important thing, leave no one behind. Why is this important? Because you cannot have sustainability without inclusion. Starting with the question that you asked me. And after my experience with you guys, Ziad, and all the partners and members within your community, if I may say it so, I have learned that landscape is more than gardens, green areas. It is the connection between the building and the road. It's about livelihood, it's about the person, and also it's about the future. Let me talk a little bit, if you allow me, about people with disabilities. Philip, you know that 1.3 billion people around the world suffer from a disability? Some people, and this is why I'm very happy to be with you here, to share with you these pieces of knowledge that I have learned while working with the landscape community. 1.3 billion people around the world suffer from a disability, which is a community equal to China. Do you know? Do you want more numbers?
Yeah, sure.
Let me give you some numbers.
When we're talking about this disability, we're not just talking about people in wheelchairs, right? We're talking about aged people.
No, disability. There is no numbers for the aged people till this moment. 1 out of 6 persons in the world suffer from disability. This is WHO, World Health Organization. So, some people think disability is a niche market. Let us work as if we are doing something for this community that has never been targeted before. But the truth is, no. Disability is the largest minority in the world. And something more, each and every one of you will pass into this stage, whether aging, whether temporarily disabled, pregnant woman, and there is more to come in our conversation. But I'm gonna say a number and then go to the next question. So when we talk about disability, leaving no one behind, putting the person in the middle, sustainability and humanity all connected together, I want to tell you one last thing. People with disabilities' contribution to the world economy is $13 trillion. So when we are going to think inclusive, we want to start thinking about development, we want to start thinking about future, we have to start thinking, as your colleagues have said, that it's not about a niche market, it is about how to connect things together, because what we have learned, Philip, during the pandemic, is when you think and build exclusive, you think and build extremely resilient communities. I will give you an example. If you have a park that is 100% accessible, and we all know there's nothing called 100% accessible. I hope we have the time to clarify. It's not about the wheelchair or a person with a disability, hearing disability or a visual disability. And this is what we learned from Red Sea Global. It is how you, as a traveler, drag your bag effortlessly to point A, from point A to point B. It is how you maneuver with all your family, friends, without any effort, taking into consideration crisis, taking into consideration climate change, and putting everything together. One last thing. When you talk about 1.3 billion people, you talk about a person with a disability influencing 5 people. So each and every person with a disability, when we are building and thinking in the right direction and in the right place, is influencing the decision of 5 people. So it's 1.3 times 5, and you could do the numbers.
I don't think if you don't know, Michael is a paraplegic. How old were you when you had your accident?
Well, at the age of 6, I was completely paralyzed from the chest down. It was in Bahrain. I don't know what happened, but I think in life everything is meant to be. So
you have use of your arms and your neck and your head, but below this, totally paralyzed.
But the thing is, it took me 24 years to understand the power of the brain, the neuroplasticity of the brain. How can each and every person remodulate his or her brain? I did it. I learned how to walk. I wear an exoskeleton and I propel myself. It took me 24 years to understand how to do this first step forward. And when I did this first step forward, it opened the science all over the world.
So you walk around the world now. This is exoskeleton. I've seen it. It sort of wraps his whole body, and he uses crutches, and he leverages for. You've climbed mountains. You've run races. I understand you even hold the world record for the 100-meter dash for the paraplegic. Is this correct?
Yes.
We were going to get you to reenact that 100-meter dash, but you said you had sore biceps, so we gave you a break today.
There is always a way to do it. But the thing is, all over the years, when the whole world told me you cannot walk, I discovered that 3 important formulas are very important to each human being. I did it to myself. One is I took the choice to never give up. Second is I looked inside my spirituality to find my faith. So choice, faith. And the third thing, each and every one of you knows that determination, nothing comes easy. So with choice, faith, and determination, I decided that I want to take this step forward. And when I did it, I realized that nothing is important in life. If you truly believe, you could do it. So from a person that is completely disabled, again, I want to repeat it, choice, faith, and determination, I managed to transform my mindset, and I transformed myself from a disabled person to a differently abled person, because I discovered that nothing is impossible if we have those three elements. And from a person who could not walk, I started walking all over the world to advocate for three things: technology, science and technology. I'm working with universities around the world because this is the power of the brain. If you think it, you could do it. So if I could walk with a paraplegia from the chest down and climb mountains, everybody could do it, and we could take this mind experiment to a different level. Second is climate, because Earth is sitting in a wheelchair, and it is for us to act now for the future of humanity. And the third component is inclusion, people with disabilities. And when I work, I'm trying to connect those three together, the connection between technology, climate, and people with disabilities. And now, shall I say it? The third thing. Aside from as a goodwill ambassador for the United Nations, advocating all over the world for the connection, I'm working on the connecting, and this is where landscape is very important, Ziad, accessible outer space program. Because space is the future. It's the importance of space is how to take and advance technologies to this highest level, and also how to benefit humanity. When we push our limits, we are advancing humanity. I know that our time is ending, but I want to end in one last statement. I know you wanted to ask me this, and it's for you, Ziad, and all those people that are here. We were discussing this, and you asked me where is the most accessible place you have seen? And Ziad, we have talked about this. And this is my final call before I leave this stage. I've heard about accessible spaces in the world. I've experienced them, and I discovered there is no perfect accessible space. There is always a space where we could experiment accessibility. And as a goodwill ambassador for the Arab state region, I'm very proud of this part of the world. Because when it comes to disability and accessibility, we are leading more than any other place in the world. And Ziad, I want to take this opportunity right here, right now and today, to put our efforts together and to work with those governments here, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Saudi Arabia, wherever. We have the knowledge, we have the people to build a perfect, accessible place to teach people around the world, it's a lab, how accessible green spaces are. Invite people to test those spaces, take this to another dimension, do an experiment in those accessible parks or park, and share it with others. Accessibility is about tourism. Accessibility and landscape is about learning and pushing borders. I know we could help. I know we could make things happen. I know that the leaders in this community hear us. I know that they want to do it. And I think my call here today, with your magazine and all people that are listening to me today, this dream and this key could become a reality. Our joint efforts, our joint contribution could make this hub happen. It is not rocket science. We could do it. And I think with our joint efforts together, we could make this happen. A small park, we could test every single idea, and we could transform our knowledge from speaking about it to actually doing it perfectly. And I think we could do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's so good for you to join us again. You're a bit like a wind-up toy. I mean, once you wind him up, he just doesn't stop, right? Like the ever-ready toy. You know that guy? You just keep talking. So it's great that you're our friend. It's great that you're my friend. And I really appreciate that. And thanks for joining us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Haddad, the man who is probably the most determined man of determination. And it sounds like he might be the first man of determination in space. That might be on the agenda. Is that?
We're on the way.
You're on the way. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Haddad, thank you so much,
Yalla
Michael.
Ziad, we want to do this. We want to do this. We want to do this.